Hi, I'm Madeline from Sonic Bloom. Usually when there are tutorials about warping in Ableton Live, the focus is on getting the timing right, which of course is the main purpose of warping, but it doesn't mean that you can't do a whole lot of other things with that, and it's particularly great to use or misuse for sound design. And I want to share 5 examples today how you can utilize warping for sound design. The first way how we can use warping creatively is for creating drones or even risers as well with extreme warping. And I'm going to show you how. So I've got a sample here. It's a one shot of a note played. That's always the root note of the key you're working in. Is great for risers, for example. And so let's double click so we can see the clip view. And the first thing I'm actually going to do is set it to tones because it is a tone. And so I'm going to press Shift now and drag this until I can't drag any further because we've reached the maximum BPM, which is 999. We can just listen to that. So right now we don't have a riser, we have more of like a downlifter. And so I'm gonna make sure it's selected and then I can press R to reverse it. You can of course also click here. And now it starts the other way around. We can also try if maybe texture would be nicer as a warp setting. Can be nice, but only if you want a riser that has this rhythmical stuttering included, which you don't really have like that when you set it to tones. So that's more fluid. I'm gonna keep it like this. But right now we only have 16 seconds. That might not be long enough if we want to have it as a drone through a longer part, or maybe even throughout part of the whole song or track. And so it's selected, and then I'm gonna do Command or Control on Windows and J to consolidate the clip. And now we're back to a BPM that is much lower, so we can just repeat the trick. I'm actually going to double click on here so that I have an easier time dragging it again. Going to set it to tones again and then press Shift and drag. Let's listen to this part. So if you just want a riser, the previous version might be better, but let's try what it sounds like now with texture. They're definitely interesting overtones, like when I play this part here. It sounds more flat and uninteresting. If it's about creating a drone, let's try repitch. That could be interesting as well. It's going to be quite low now. Yeah, that's kind of pretty much too low. Although it could be good if you want to have something ominous. And so I could just continue that, or if I wanted to create a drone, I might say, okay, I'm gonna grab this part, get rid of the rest, and then I'm gonna consolidate again and just continue the game until I'm happy. Let's drag it to the beginning. Let me try texture now. It can be interesting because it's this fluctuation. And we could just, well, we haven't actually dragged it to the end this time. And we could just continue. And then maybe we could EQ that a little bit and add some reverb, and we've got a nice drone. So the second way we can use warping creatively is for changing the rhythm or groove of audio clips. And so I've got a guitar loop here that is straight strums. And I want to change the rhythm of the strums, so it's not just straight, but I'm going to change the length of the clip first, so I don't have to go through the whole length and make the tutorial too long. I'm going to select it, press Z or Z, and then I'm actually going to double click on every second strum, the beginning where the transient is, so these little lines here, because I want to pin them in place so they don't move when I'm changing the position of the other strums. And so I can just grab this here, drag it, and do the same with the other ones. And then we can have a quick listen. Not quite there yet. So the first thing I want to do is, because I want to keep the beats warp mode because that's best for rhythms, and preserve the transients. But right now here we've got 3 more lines of transients that basically would be triggered as well, and I do not want that. So I can just select each and delete them with the delete or backspace. And I'm going to have to zoom in for this one to grab it and zoom out with X again. And then we can have a listen. Definitely better, but I think like the transient loop mode is the wrong one. I think I want to just have this slice plate, because like with beats mode, everything is basically sliced up depending on the settings. And so I want to have that slice plate forward, and if there's, because of stretching, still time left, it will just result in silence. It even sounds like the guitar is muted by the fingers. And then we could also try the transient envelope here to make it even more staccato and abrupt. That sounds too unnatural. Might be something you could want occasionally, but if you want to preserve the sound of the guitar, that's definitely too extreme. And something else you could also integrate is to use the clip gain envelope, and then you can just click on gain, and then it's pre-selected for you, and then you could create breakpoints and take it down. And of course, don't forget that you can also use grooves for that sort of thing. And just gonna select this. I've got a percussion clip here. And then I could just grab a groove, because that's basically the way grooves work with audio clips. Whereas with MIDI clips, the MIDI notes are moved to the position according to the groove. What you get with audio clips is warp markers are used to move them to that position. And so I could just maybe grab that one, just drag that here in groove, and we can pre-listen. And you can already hear that it actually makes quite a big difference. And I'm just going to commit it like this. And you can see that warp markers are set. But what is also the case with this preset and others as well, the grooves, I mean, is that they have a clip gain curve. So if that is too extreme, you can either adjust it or completely get rid of it. I can just right click here and click on clear envelope, or you can just select it and press Command or Control and delete. But you can still hear that the rhythm has changed compared to the original. There's basically more of a kind of like a limping feel to it. Another way we can use warping is to create rhythmical patterns or even stutter effect kind of sounds. And so here I've got a clip called Atmos Calm. So atmospheric, drone-like, and I want to change that into something very rhythmical. So the first thing here I'm going to do is pitch it up maybe by an octave, so 12 semitones. And you can already hear how the warp mode comes through a little bit. And now I want to stick to beats because that's the best one if you want to get very rhythmical results. But I'm going to set preserve to maybe an 8th note for now. We could try pass better. That, for example, makes it very rhythmical already. And we could take the transient envelope down as well. Because that basically shortens the slice that is played. Maybe try 16th. Let's try an octave higher. Yeah, and I mean, like right now, you can already hear, like we've got a sample that was a drone. Into something very rhythmical. You just have to basically tweak it so it fits sound-wise into the rest of your track. We can use warping also to create granular textures out of audio clips. So I've got a banjo piece here. And so let's turn that into granular texture. So the first thing I would do is look at, okay, so I've got a BPM of 100. So I'm gonna look for a multiple that is under 999. So I think 800 makes sense in the musical context. And then I'm gonna set this to 16 because times 8. And then just drag this out to 17. Then I've got a whole thing. But we're still in beats mode, which is not granular. Not uninteresting, but not what I'm after with this example. So let's try one of the granular modes, which are tones and texture. So they use granular synthesis, and that's exactly what we're after. So let's try tones first. Not so great like this, but we could amp up the grain size. That's quite interesting. Let's try texture. This is really nice. We could add more randomness. A little bit less. And this one already has a bit of reverb in it, but if you have a clip that doesn't have anything like that yet, or you want more, just add a reverb on top and you've got some really nice granular textures. Another great way to basically kind of misuse warping is to have a dedicated sound design session within its own live set where you have one or a couple of audio clips and you just really go crazy with messing with all the warp settings and even the global tempo and just recording the output on another audio track. And then afterwards, you can sort through what you like best. The best way, at least I think it is the best way for this, is to use comping. So this is why I have it in the arrangement view. You can of course also do that in the session view, but it can be nice to like have different takes and you can just pick and choose. You can always drag them out to another audio track if you want to do further work on them. So it might be helpful to kind of just use it like this, because then you can also just mess with comping and see if you can get interesting results from the things that you've recorded. So the first thing I'm going to do is here set the loop braces just around the clip, turn on loop. maybe zoom in, and then we're gonna have to make sure that we do the routing. So setting the second audio track to the first one, and then we're gonna arm the second one. And we've got the first one selected. So let's listen to the original first. And then I'm gonna go and set the global tempo all the way to the minimum. You can see it goes no further down. And now we can have a listen. Already huge change. I'm just gonna start recording and mess with the warp settings, and you can have a listen. Also, you can mess with these settings or reverse. Could also mess about with pitch. And so on and so forth. And then you can just basically click here and go through all the outputs, see if you like it within a comp, or if you want to change it into smaller bits and pieces that you maybe save as live clips. So that's the examples. By the way, a little bonus tip: if you want to record a real instrument and you need to play it really fast and you just kind of really can't get it right, play it at half the speed and then do the ×2 and make sure that you use beats and transients, or the setting if you have like a really straight played rhythm of like whatever you're playing. That works really well. Well, that's it. I hope you found this useful. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Until then, bye.